but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop,
The Tinfoil Show.
This is a Levack and Goz crazy theory.
That's right. Every Friday, we throw journalistic integrity out the window for about 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, a lot of people get a little nervous in sports about having original thoughts. Thoughts that maybe you only have. Some people would call you crazy! Ah! No, it's okay to have original thoughts. We don't judge you if you want to have a crazy theory. You can let us know. Social media, Facebook.com/1045theteam, at 1045theteam on Twitter, and at Tom Goz, TOMGOZZ. And Closer, you make your debut in this segment.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. You know, we always throw crazy theories around the office anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm happy you guys do this, and I'm happy to be a part of it for the first time. So I'm going to start off with one.
Okay.
Major League Baseball and all the stadiums around Major League Baseball will start selling toasted grasshoppers within the next couple years. Because now
You're
ESPN's
off to a
reporting,
good start, by the way.
right?
You're off to a good start with your craziness.
ESPN's reporting that the Seattle Mariners sold at least 1,000 batches in their first 3-game home series, had to get a called emergency order of toasted grasshoppers. Guys, what could be better than going to a nice game in the afternoon? You go up there, get yourself a hot dog, a nice cold beverage, and then some toasted grasshoppers. What could be better than that?
I'm on record on the show. Levack went off about this and said it was the dumbest thing ever. And I said, you cannot say that unless you've tried it. How many grasshoppers have you eaten? Oh, you need a grasshopper, guys? All right, we're going to eat a grasshopper. Like, that's how he twisted it on me.
Oh, he tried to, force you to eat them.
Right.
Okay.
But what I said was that I'm not going to say it's not a good food if I haven't tried it before. I'm willing to try it and to tell you.
Willing to get a batch.
But here's the thing about your theory that makes some sense a little bit.
Oh.
Certain businesses, they say any PR is good PR. Everybody from Albany, New York to Seattle, Washington was talking about these toasted grasshoppers. So if you go to Safeco Field, you go to the Mariners Stadium, you want to find out what's everybody talking about on ESPN. So that's the reason I had success. If you're in Boston, if you're in New York, if you're in Baltimore, and they have some crazy dish, and ESPN and SportsCenter are talking about it, I'm sure the fans there would want to eat it. Shout out to everybody getting the PR press on the grasshoppers. That's why it worked out.
Listen, dude, it's going to work out, man. Next year, we're going to go down. We're going to go watch a Yankee game. I'm going to buy you and Levack some toasted grasshoppers when we go down to watch the Yankees, man.
Here's my crazy theory.
Okay.
Nobody wants Dean Blandino's job in the NFL. If you haven't heard the reports, Dean Blandino was going to be the head of officiating this year. He was going to be the czar of officiating. They're going to centralize replays in the NFL, so when they go back, instead of the old time where you see the official getting underneath that weird video box off the field, someone's going to be in their ear off the booth, and Blandino was going to be the one making the calls. Blandino's leaving the NFL.
Yes.
He is now going off, according to some reports, to spend more time with his family or to join Fox Sports as an NFL rules analyst to join Mike Pereira. So Blandino dodges the criticism, because imagine you are the guy. Every official makes a call, but if you don't like it or you do like it, you are now the sole blame for teams. Why would anybody want that job?
No, see, I feel like he's dodging criticism here for not only this. Like, we talked about a little bit on Big Board Sports earlier today, that the whole I'm going to spend time with family thing is okay, listen, I have no other excuse why I'm leaving. Or there's something more going on here, that either he disagreed with something Roger Goodell wanted to do, or he wanted to do something that no one was on board with.
Or how about he didn't want the job?
Or he just realized that, Jesus, this is going to suck if I actually keep this. So we go with all of a sudden I'm not spending enough time with my family, guys, so I got to get out of here. But, oh, wait, I'm going to spend the whole rest of the year on Fox or whatever network he ends up signing with for the entire season. So this whole, family thing, okay, it sounds great when you first read it, but you read into it, I agree, though, that I don't know if I would want his job, because God forbid, whenever something happens, we have the Calvin Johnson catch or the Des Bryant catch or non-catch or whatever you want to call it, or someone messes up in a big spot, they're looking squarely at me.
That's right. There it is.
I would have to agree with you in that
It's
case.
Goz and Closer here with conspiracy or crazy theories in sports. Time for some original thought here that we're not going to get judged for. What's your second one, Closer?
My second one is going to go off of my home, which is horse racing. And this year, for anyone who's going to bet the Kentucky Derby in a few weeks, this year, a long shot is going to be your best shot in the Kentucky Derby.
Ooh,
this year is one of those years. There's no clear-cut favorite at all, guys. So when you're going to the window, you need to be betting on horses at least 15-1 because they have probably the best chance this year to come in is a long shot. 15, 20, 50-1. Go all in on the long shots.
20 horse field, more than likely, maybe anywhere between 18 and 20. The longest favorite was Orb in 2013. I remember I was at that Derby. If I'm not mistaken, that exacted paid somewhere around $900.
Oh, yeah.
With Orb as the favorite in that. So even if you see a favorite go off at 9-1, don't even touch that yet. There's still some unproven horses out there that you wouldn't feel confident in.
Yeah, we'll go in our last weekend. We just talked to Andy Serling about the preps coming up this weekend. So this is the last weekend we actually get to do our homework, as we say in the horse racing biz, to figure out who we want to go with. And, I'll have updates every week on the Paddock Pass to keep you more informed before we hit the windows for the Derby.
That scares me like aliens. Like a strange theory like aliens exist.
Long shots, baby.
Long shots in
all
the Derby.
day.
I don't know where I'm going to go with it. I have 2 more.
Okay.
Because I'm a little crazier this week than you.
Of course you do.
NFL teams hate Todd McShay and Mel Kiper. Here's why. We watch college football.
Sure.
But us as sports fans, there's such a huge pool of players in college football. It's hard for us having other jobs to figure out who's the best draft prospects. So Kiper and McShay do it for us. Think about this draft class. How many people thought it was going to be a bad quarterback class until you heard it from Kiper and Shea? Like, you didn't. If Todd McShay said it was going to be a bad quarterback class, and then Kiper said it, then we all think, okay, those guys know their stuff. NFL teams, trust me, in less than 2 weeks, you're going to see Kiper and McShay having a mock draft, and if it doesn't, the team drafting that player match their mock draft, people on Twitter are going to crush them. Oh, what a terrible pick Kiper didn't have. Whoa! The NFL teams are sitting there like, we did our research, but because the guy on ESPN didn't have that, he's now a bust? That doesn't make sense, but that's what happens now. Like, the NFL teams are going to be criticized because the experts at ESPN had this guy in that spot.
Yeah, but the experts, then they go through mock draft 2, 3, 8.0 before we actually get to draft night, and all of them are different ones, like what they would take if they were the GMs, whatever it may be. But we just get so much draft coverage and so much draft talk now that the NFL's pushed it to May, or either late April at this point, to where this is all we have to talk about. Like, baseball season gets us in the beginning, the first couple weeks, and then after that, it's still back to NFL draft talk. So, and everyone wants to know. They want to be in the know. Like, who are the Giants taking? I'm a Giants fan. Who are they taking? You're a Bucks fan. Who are your Bucks going to take to get you over the hump to get into the playoffs next year? I don't put as much on them because they are putting in the time. And the problem we get is, especially the quarterback position this year, we're hearing all these guys. If you ask Kiper and McShay, they're saying these quarterbacks they're not even first round ready.
Right.
They shouldn't even be first round picks. And that you might even see a quarterback go as early to 6 to the Jets. So I don't know. I try not to kill him too much.
It's amazing to think like a guy like Deshaun Watson, because Kiper and McShay say he's not a good quarterback, won't be drafted high, and everyone's like, okay, well, they said that, so I'll believe him. But ignore what he did at Clemson. I get it's a little different, like being a good college player and a pro player, and they have experience, but there's some part of it where you think, I want to think with my own thoughts, man. Like, I don't want to just copy and regurgitate what you just said, Kiper and McShay. I got one more for you.
Okay.
NBA players will rest in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, my God.
Hear me out here. Now, we're not talking about a full game rest, but to think that these guys are all of a sudden going to go all out, and the theme of the season has been players resting. If you're LeBron or Curry or Durant and you guys have a 3-0 lead in the first round, are you going to play game 4? Are you going to play game 5? If you're going to win the series, we've watched how much injuries have had an impact. Whether it be the Cavaliers from 2 years ago, whether it be Steph Curry last year, we're going to still see guys rest in the playoffs.
Let me ask you something, guys. Do you really think Steph Curry's going to want to sit out now, even though what lead they had when they were up 3-1 last year, too? You really think they're going to want to sit out now?
Not in the NBA Finals. In the first round,
I don't care what round it is.
There's talent on talent. Look, you can beat the Portland Trailblazers without Steph Curry.
You've been resting for 3 months.
Good, let him rest
more. You've been
more.
resting for 3 months. You don't need – and we're playing games once every 3 weeks in the playoffs anyway. No, you've been resting for 3 months. Go out, win your games. We're going to see a finals of Cavs – Warriors anyway. No, go and play the games.
Perfect.
There's no way it's resting.
Rest up. Look, if you could be paid the same and do less work, we'd all sign up for it. The NBA guys got it made.
That's what you do here now, right?
Wait a second. Whoa. You get paid to be here?
Wait. Yes. I got one more, too.
Yeah, all right.
Okay?
All right.
Marlins man. Going to be on the program next week, Big Board Sports.
No, he's not. No, that's not
Coming on, baby. Marlins man and his models.
I refuse to
in
ask.
studio.